Hey folks, welcome back to the Weekly Spark, your regular roundup of what's been happening in the worlds of e-ink, Kindle and iPad. This week we're talking about continued frustration around Kindle Scribe availability, some genuinely useful Kindle software updates that might soften the blow, a new TCL tablet that's blurring the line between e-ink and more traditional tablet displays, and a quieter but important iPadOS update that focuses more on reliability than flashy features. It's Friday, get yourself comfortable and let's get into it. Okay, let's start with what is still a massive frustration for me. Here in the UK, we're still completely clueless when it comes to launch dates for any of the new Kindle Scribe models, particularly the Scribe Colorsoft. However, it appears that even in the US, Amazon is still making people wait for the Kindle Scribe model that comes without the front light. And this model will be the cheapest way into Amazon's e-ink note-taking ecosystem. Strip out the front light, lower the price, and suddenly the Scribe becomes more accessible to people who mainly work in bright environments. Personally though, I couldn't use a device like this without some kind of front light. Even if you're mostly reading or writing during the day, lighting conditions are never as consistent as you think. Early mornings, evenings, winter light in the UK, cafes, trains, all of that matters, it's all different. For me, a front light isn't a luxury feature, it's essential. So, while I understand why Amazon wants a cheaper entry point, I'm not convinced that this model will suit as many people as they think. However, this is entirely subjective, so I'd be interested to know if you also think the same or you're not bothered at all. Do let me know in the comments and let's get a conversation going. While some hardware releases remain stuck in limbo, it appears that Amazon may be doing some sensible things on the software side, such as the Kindle Scribe Colorsoft getting a system-wide dark mode. And that's something that US users have been asking for since the launch. And for a device designed around long reading and note-taking sessions, it really should have been there from the start. But it looks like the company will be also pushing meaningful updates to older devices too. Older Kindle Scribe models are set to receive the newer Scribe home screen, Google Drive and OneDrive integration, and even some of the AI features that were introduced with the 2025 Scribe. If you're still rocking a 2022 or 2024 Kindle Scribe, you're not being left behind. Some of the headline features from the newer models should make their way to your device later this year. And Amazon's also rolling out newer AI-powered reading features across its entire Kindle lineup. One of these is called Story So Far. And the idea is simple. If you haven't picked up a book in a while, it gives you a quick recap of where you are without spoiling anything that comes next. Another feature, Ask This Book, lets you highlight a passage and ask questions about it. Things like why a character added a certain way or why a scene matters, again without revealing future plot points. Amazon says both the Scribe updates and these AI reading features should arrive early this year. If you're using the Kindle app on iOS, you may already have access to Story So Far and Ask This Book. All this sounds great. If you live outside the US, I'm not entirely confident that we'll get these features at all. Maybe I'm feeling a little bitter, not yet able to get a Kindle Colorsoft in my hands. But if Amazon's Echo devices are any examples to follow, we're still waiting in the UK to get some of these security features that folks in the US have had for a while now. Anyway, moving on. Maybe the most intriguing change isn't about AI at all. Amazon announced recently a change to how DRM-free eBooks can be downloaded. From January the 20th, 2026, any DRM-free titles you bought will be available to download in EPUB or PDF format. And that's a big deal if you manage a library on a computer or use software like Calibra, because it makes moving books to other devices far simpler. Now, I personally don't do this, but I'd love to hear from any Calibra users as to how this will make your reading life more accessible. Amazon says the goal is to make it easier for readers to enjoy content they've already purchased across a wider range of devices and apps. Now, this only applies to DRM-free titles, which means it won't cover most mainstream Kindle books, but if you buy from independent authors who choose to go DRM-free, this seems genuinely useful. And considering Amazon started 2025 by removing the download and transfer via USB option, it's refreshing to see them begin 2026 by giving a little ground back, even if it's limited. The argument could be made that it's a step in the right direction. Despite the lack of Scribe Colorsoft over here in the UK, maybe this shouldn't be the tablet that I'm waiting for. TCL, a company that's long been known for its display technology rather than e-readers specifically, has just revealed a new tablet called the Note A1 Nxtpaper or Nxtpaper. What really matters here isn't the tablet itself, but the screen. This is the first TCL device to use what they're calling Nxtpaper Pure Display technology, and this is where it starts to brush up against Kindle and e-ink territory. Unlike traditional e-ink, this isn't monochrome or limited color tech. It's a full color display, but finished with an anti-glare, anti-reflection, anti-fingerprint surface that's designed to feel and look far closer to paper than a typical tablet screen. The idea is to reduce eye strain while still giving you all the colors and responsiveness. And this is why some people are already framing it as a potential Kindle Colorsoft competitor. Amazon's color e-ink devices rely on e-ink Kaleido technology, which can only display colors in the thousands. Nxtpaper Pure, by contrast, works with a full 16.7 million color palette. Now, it's important to be clear about one thing. This is not an e-ink display. TCL doesn't use e-ink at all here. Instead, it mimics the look of e-ink by heavily controlling brightness, color saturation, and refresh behavior. And visually, it can resemble a Kindle screen reasonably well, especially in black and white. But the underlying technology is very different. TCL is also aiming this clearly at the note-taking crowd. Where things really diverge, though, is software. Unlike Amazon's Kindle lineup, which is tightly locked down and very deliberately focused on doing two things well, reading and writing, the Note A1 runs Android with TCL's own software layer on top. This brings stylus features, AI tools, live translation, contextual organization, all the usual modern tablet tricks. The Note A1 Nxtpaper therefore seems to be trying to be everything at once: tablet, e-reader, sketchpad, organizer, even a light laptop replacement. For some people, that flexibility will be exactly what they want. For others, especially those who appreciate how focused and distraction-free Kindles are, like me, it might feel like just a little bit too much. Who knows? TCL will be showing the Note A1 Nxtpaper at CES 2026, and that's when we'll really see whether this is just another clever display experiment or a genuine challenge to Amazon's color e-ink direction. And finally, to balance out all the e-ink and Kindle talk, there's also been some quieter but still important movement in the iPad world. Apple has started rolling out the public beta of iPadOS 26.3. And while this isn't one of those headline-grabbing updates with big new features plastered all over keynote slides, it's very much a refined release. A lot of focus here is on background improvements, security updates, system stability, and under-the-hood changes that you won't necessarily notice straight away, but which make a difference if you actually rely on your iPad day to day. What's more interesting, though, is something that hasn't really been marketed at all. Buried inside recent versions of iPadOS and macOS is a new Wi-Fi performance feature that appears to boost bandwidth between supported iPads and Macs. It's not a toggle you'll find in settings, and Apple hasn't made any song and dance about it, but the effect should be improved wireless performance, particularly on congested networks. And that matters more than it might sound. If you're using an iPad as a main device, syncing files, working in the cloud, transferring media, or even just browsing on shared Wi-Fi. Small improvements like this can make a whole experience feel less frustrating and more dependable. So that's your lot for this week. As always, if you've spotted any other e-ink or iPad stories that I've missed, do drop them in the comments or email me directly at markfromthespark@gmail.com and I'll take a look for the next episode. Thanks for watching or listening, and before you go, please do like and subscribe if you found this useful. And if you really want to push the boat out, consider rewarding my online efforts by buying me a digital coffee. QR code for that has been on the screen this whole episode, or use the link in the description. I'm Mark from the Weekly Spark, and I'll see you in the next one.